Alex had never expected a normal Saturday afternoon to turn into a full-scale cat rescue mission. The sun was high in the sky, spilling light through the large living room windows of his best friend Lily's house. Alex had come over just to hang out, maybe play some video games, and talk about school. But now, as he sat on the soft carpet, he was staring at a worried Mrs. Harper, Lily's mom, who held a small, empty cat bowl in her hands. "Alex," Mrs. Harper said, her voice calm but urgent. "Whiskers has been missing since yesterday morning. I've tried everything, but he won't come out. I need your help." Alex blinked. Whiskers was Lily's mom's cat. A sleek gray tabby with mischievous green eyes. He had seen Whiskers run across the yard, jump onto fences, and disappear into shadows, but he had never been directly responsible for catching him. Me? Help catch a cat?" Alex asked, scratching the back of his head. "I mean, I've seen him around, but I don't know if I'm the best person for it." Mrs. Harper smiled gently. "I know it's unusual to ask, but you're good with thinking through problems. You're patient, and you pay attention. I think Whiskers needs that." Alex felt a mixture of nervousness and pride. It wasn't often that someone trusted him to do something important. He shifted in his seat and finally nodded. "Okay, I'll try. But where is he hiding?" Mrs. Harper tilted her head toward the hallway. "He's somewhere in the basement. I've checked all the rooms and corners. I've put food out. Tried to lure him with toys, but he won't budge. The basement, well, it's messy. So be careful." Alex stood, his sneakers squeaking slightly on the hardwood floor. "All right. Let's see what we're dealing with." He followed Mrs. Harper down the narrow staircase that led to the basement. The air grew cooler, carrying the smell of old wood and faint mildew. Light from a single hanging bulb barely illuminated the clutter below. Boxes were stacked haphazardly, old furniture leaned at odd angles, and the faint outline of forgotten tools and storage bins created shadows that danced on the walls. "Whiskers," Mrs. Harper called softly. "Come on out, sweetie." There was no answer, only silence. Alex crouched near the bottom of the stairs, scanning the room. His eyes caught movement near a stack of cardboard boxes. A flash of gray fur disappeared behind them. "Gotcha," he whispered under his breath. But he knew it wouldn't be that simple. Alex began carefully moving through the basement, stepping lightly over boxes and avoiding loose cords on the floor. Whiskers seemed to know every hiding spot, darting behind crates, slipping under old couches, and occasionally letting out a soft, almost teasing meow. "Patience," Alex muttered to himself. He remembered Mrs. Harper's words about paying attention. He noticed small details. The way Whiskers' tail flicked when he was nervous. The slight jingling sound from the collar's bell. The way he seemed to avoid certain corners. Hours, or maybe it felt like hours, passed in a tense game of hide and seek. Alex tried coaxing Whiskers with treats, using a laser pointer, even gently shaking a cardboard box with catnip inside. Whiskers only peeked briefly, then disappeared again. Despite the frustration, Alex began to feel a connection with the cat. He admired how clever Whiskers was, how he observed Alex as carefully as Alex observed him. It was like a silent conversation, each testing the other's patience and wit. At one point, Alex tripped over a small box and stumbled, landing softly on his knees. Whiskers froze, his green eyes wide, then darted into a shadowy corner near the old furnace. Alex laughed quietly, rubbing his head. Okay. I get it. You're smart." Mrs. Harper came down the stairs slowly, her hands resting lightly on the railing. "Alex," she said softly, "don't worry about catching him right away. Sometimes, the best way is to just be still and let him come to you." Alex nodded, taking a deep breath. He sank to the floor, leaning against a stack of boxes. He stayed quiet, letting the basement's dim light and shadows surround him. Minutes passed. Then, slowly, cautiously, Whiskers emerged from behind the furnace, his eyes fixed on Alex. Alex held out his hand. "It's okay, Whiskers. You don't have to be afraid." The cat stepped closer, sniffing the air. He moved one paw, then another, until he was close enough for Alex to gently stroke his soft fur. Whiskers purred, a low, content sound that made Alex smile. Mrs. Harper's voice came from behind, warm and gentle. "See? Patience works wonders." Alex looked up at her, feeling a mix of triumph and relief. "Yeah, I guess it does." Whiskers circled Alex's legs, clearly comfortable now. Alex laughed softly. "You're tricky, you know that?" Mrs. Harper smiled, watching the interaction. There was a softness in her eyes, a quiet appreciation that made Alex's chest feel warm. "Alex, thank you for helping. Really." Alex blushed slightly, not used to such direct praise. "It's no problem," he said, shrugging. But inside, he felt proud. Not just for catching the cat, but for understanding the situation, for seeing the person who needed help and caring enough to act. "Sometimes," Mrs. Harper said thoughtfully, "it's not just about catching the cat. It's about knowing someone's here for you. Even when things feel small or silly, it matters." Alex nodded, quietly reflecting on her words. He hadn't realized that this simple task, catching a cat, could mean so much to someone. It wasn't about the challenge or the cleverness of the cat. It was about connection. "Come on, Whiskers," Alex said, smiling as he gently picked the cat up. "Let's get you back to your food." As they climbed the stairs, the basement felt lighter somehow. Alex looked back at Mrs. Harper, who gave a small, knowing smile. For a moment, Alex felt a strange but pleasant warmth. It wasn't just about helping a cat, it was about helping a person, noticing what they needed, and being there. Outside, sunlight poured into the living room. Whiskers darted toward his food bowl, purring loudly. Alex watched, feeling a quiet satisfaction. He had come over just to hang out, but he realized that sometimes, the most ordinary days held the most extraordinary moments. Mrs. Harper's voice made him start slightly. "Alex, you came just for me, didn't you?" Alex paused. He hadn't thought about it like that before. He had come to help. Yes, but maybe he had come for more than just the cat. Maybe it was about showing care, being there when someone needed him. I guess I did," Alex admitted, feeling a little embarrassed. But he didn't mind. Somehow, it felt right. Mrs. Harper smiled warmly, and Alex felt a deep, simple happiness, the kind that comes from small acts of kindness, understanding, and connection. He realized that humans could do remarkable things, even in quiet, ordinary ways. And maybe, just maybe, that was enough. The next morning, Alex woke up with the bright sunlight spilling through his window. He thought about yesterday's adventure with Whiskers and Mrs. Harper. It wasn't just catching a cat, it had been about understanding, patience, and small acts of care. But as he got dressed, a thought struck him. What if Whiskers ran away again? The cat had been clever, maybe even too clever. Alex ate a quick breakfast and grabbed his backpack. He decided to check on Whiskers and Mrs. Harper before meeting Lily later. When he arrived at the Harper house, he found Mrs. Harper in the kitchen, stirring tea, looking a little tired. "Good morning, Alex," she said warmly. "I'm glad you came. Whiskers is, well, he's still clever." She smiled faintly. "I don't know if he'll let anyone else get close to him like yesterday." Alex laughed softly. "I think I can handle him. I just need to be patient again. Right?" Mrs. Harper nodded. "Yes. But he might test you more this time. He knows you care, and he's curious. Just be gentle and smart." Alex followed her to the basement. A little more prepared this time. He carried a small bag with treats, a flashlight, and a soft blanket. The basement looked the same as yesterday, dim light, stacked boxes, and old furniture creating shadows, but Alex felt more confident now. "Whiskers?" he called softly as he stepped down the stairs. A small, green-eyed face peeked out from behind a wooden crate. The cat's tail flicked nervously, but he didn't run. Alex knelt slowly, speaking in a calm voice. "It's okay, Whiskers. I won't hurt you. Do you want some treats?" Whiskers tilted his head and then darted into a darker corner, his movements quick and deliberate. Alex watched, understanding that this would not be easy. Whiskers was smart, almost as if he wanted to play a game. Alex set the bag down and pulled out a small treat. He held it out, then sat quietly on the floor. Minutes passed. Whiskers stayed hidden, peeking occasionally, but not coming close. Alex sighed, realizing this wasn't about rushing the cat. It was about earning his trust again. "Okay, let's think," Alex muttered. He remembered Mrs. Harper's advice. Observe, notice small details, and be patient. He looked around the basement. Old boxes created small tunnels, and shadows could hide the cat completely. Alex noticed a faint trail of paw prints on some dusty boxes. Whiskers had been exploring every corner. Slowly, Alex began to set up a little path with treats, leading from Whiskers' hiding spot toward the center of the basement. He moved quietly, careful not to make sudden noises. Whiskers watched from the shadows, his green eyes gleaming with curiosity. Then, with a small leap, Whiskers appeared in the middle of the path, sniffing the treats. Alex froze, letting the cat approach at his own pace. Whiskers took a tiny nibble, then looked back at Alex, as if testing whether it was safe to continue. "You're smart," Alex whispered, smiling. "Cleverer than I thought." Whiskers crept closer, his movements slow and calculated. Alex stayed still, gently extending his hand. The cat sniffed his fingers, then cautiously rubbed his head against Alex's hand. Alex felt a thrill of success. This was progress. Suddenly, a loud clatter echoed from the far side of the basement. Alex jumped slightly. Whiskers hissed and darted behind a pile of boxes. Alex held up his hands. "It's okay, Whiskers. I didn't make that noise." Mrs. Harper's voice came softly from the stairs. "Don't worry. It's just the old basement settling. He'll come back." Alex waited, sitting quietly on the floor. After several minutes, Whiskers reappeared, his tail twitching nervously. This time, he approached even closer, brushing against Alex's leg. Alex gently picked up the soft blanket he had brought and offered it as a small comfort spot for Whiskers. The cat sniffed, circled it, and then settled carefully on the blanket. Alex smiled. "Good boy, Whiskers. You're brave. You know that?" Mrs. Harper came down the stairs, watching quietly. "He likes you," she said. "He knows you care. That's why he trusts you more than anyone else. One of the well. He likes you care. One of the well. He likes you care." Alex felt a warm pride. He realized that humans could connect with others, even animals, through patience and understanding. Whiskers wasn't just a cat. He was a small test of empathy and observation. And humans, Alex thought, had an extraordinary ability to notice these things. "Do you want to try a little game?" Alex asked softly. He used a string from the floor and gently waved it near Whiskers. The cat's eyes lit up, and he pounced playfully, batting at the string with his paws. Alex laughed quietly, enjoying the simple joy of the moment. For the next hour, Alex and Whiskers played carefully. Alex discovered that the cat responded to gentle encouragement, to soft words, and to patience. Every leap, every paw swipe, and every purr made Alex feel closer to the clever creature. "Looks like he's getting comfortable," Mrs. Harper said softly. "You have a special way with him. I'm glad you're here." Alex felt a strange warmth. It wasn't just about catching Whiskers. It was about connecting, understanding, and helping. He remembered the small phrase, Mrs. Harper had said yesterday. Sometimes, the best thing humans can do is simply be present. Then, Whiskers did something unexpected. He climbed onto Alex's shoulder and nuzzled his cheek. Alex froze, unsure at first, but then laughed softly. Okay. I think we're friends now. Mrs. Harper's eyes softened. See? It's not just patience. It's attention, care, and kindness. That's what makes you human, Alex. You notice what others need, even when they can't ask for it directly. Alex felt a quiet pride. He realized that being clever wasn't about tricks or games. It was about noticing, understanding, and helping. Whiskers was clever, yes, but Alex had something equally important. Empathy. As they played, Alex noticed a small, dusty box tucked into a corner. Curious, he opened it carefully. Inside were old toys. A small photo of a younger Mrs. Harper holding Whiskers, and a note describing how lonely she had felt when Lily was away at college. Alex's chest tightened slightly. This little cat, this playful mission, had helped someone feel less alone. Alex. Mrs. Harper's voice was quiet, almost shy. You didn't just come for Whiskers, did you? Alex hesitated. Then he nodded slowly. I guess I came for both. For him, and for you. Mrs. Harper smiled warmly. Thank you. That means more than you know. The afternoon passed quietly. Alex and Whiskers rested together, the playful energy of the morning settling into a calm companionship. Alex reflected on the strange, simple truth. Humans had a remarkable ability to connect, to understand, and to care. And sometimes, that made all the difference, whether with a clever cat or a person in need. By the time Lily returned from her own errands, Alex felt a quiet pride and happiness. Whiskers ran to greet her, but the trust they had built yesterday and today remained. Alex realized that cleverness, kindness, and patience weren't just traits, they were strengths. Lily laughed as she saw the scene. Alex, did you come here just for Whiskers? Alex looked at her, smiling softly. Maybe not just for him. Maybe for both of you. Mrs. Harper nodded, and Whiskers purred loudly. The basement, once a quiet and shadowy place, now felt warm, full of trust, friendship, and small victories. Alex knew that the next time a problem arose, whether with a pet, a friend, or life in general, humans had an extraordinary gift. The ability to notice, care, and act. And with that thought, Alex left the basement, feeling proud, happy, and quietly amazed at how a small cat and a little patience had taught him so much about connection, empathy, and what it really meant to be human. The next day, Alex found himself thinking about Whiskers and Mrs. Harper again. He had come to help with the cat. But the experience had become something more. It had opened his eyes to small but important things. Patience, observation, and caring. He walked to the Harper house, feeling a quiet excitement. The sun shone brightly over the neat suburban street, and birds chirped from the trees. Alex carried a small notebook this time, not for schoolwork, but to jot down observations. Yesterday had taught him that even little details could make a difference. Mrs. Harper greeted him warmly at the door. Alex, I'm glad you're here. Whiskers is, well, he's being his usual clever self. She smiled faintly. I think he's testing you again. None. Alex laughed softly. I think I can handle him. Let's see what tricks he has today. He followed her to the basement. The dim light and familiar clutter were no longer intimidating. Alex felt more confident, more prepared, and a little curious. Whiskers was perched on a stack of boxes, his tail flicking nervously, watching Alex carefully. Alex knelt slowly on the floor. "Hi, Whiskers. Ready for another round?" The cat tilted his head and let out a soft meow, almost like a challenge. Alex smiled. He reached into his bag and pulled out a small treat. He tossed it gently toward Whiskers, who pounced on it quickly, his green eyes bright. Alex settled on the floor, keeping still. Minutes passed. Whiskers circled Alex cautiously, stopping now and then to sniff the air. Alex noticed how carefully the cat moved, avoiding shadows and unseen obstacles. The cat wasn't just being mischievous, he was smart, aware, and curious. Alex realized that this was a test, a way for Whiskers to see if he could be trusted. As he waited, Alex's eyes wandered to a small corner of the basement he hadn't noticed before. There, tucked behind old boxes, was a small, dusty bookshelf. On it were framed photos, old trinkets, and what looked like a journal. Curiosity sparked. Alex crawled carefully toward the shelf, leaving Whiskers watching from a distance. He opened the journal gently. Inside were small notes, drawings, and reminders, personal things Mrs. Harper had written over the years. Some pages mentioned Whiskers, funny memories, small adventures, and moments of comfort. One entry caught Alex's eye. A note about how lonely Mrs. Harper had felt after Lily went to college, and how Whiskers had been a small companion during those quiet times. Alex's chest tightened slightly. He realized that this little cat wasn't just a pet. He was a bridge, connecting Mrs. Harper to warmth, love, and companionship. Alex understood then why she had asked for his help. It wasn't just about catching a cat. It was about trust, care, and small moments of connection. "Alex," Mrs. Harper's voice came softly from behind him. "I see you found my old notes." Alex looked up, slightly embarrassed. I was just curious. I didn't mean to pry." Mrs. Harper smiled gently. "It's okay. I think it's good that you noticed. You pay attention in ways most people don't. That's why Whiskers trusts you." Alex nodded quietly, feeling a warm pride. "I just want to help." "And you do," she said softly. "More than you realize." He returned to the center of the basement, where Whiskers was now circling the blanket Alex had left. Alex sat patiently, letting the cat approach. Whiskers came closer, sniffing Alex's hand, then brushing against his legs. Alex gently stroked the soft gray fur, feeling the warmth and trust between them. "You're clever, you know that?" Alex whispered. "But I think we're friends now." "Way." Whiskers purred loudly, circling Alex again before settling on the blanket. Alex felt a quiet satisfaction. He had learned that sometimes the most important victories weren't about solving a problem quickly, but about connecting, understanding, and being present. Mrs. Harper sat on a nearby chair, watching the scene. "You see, Alex? It's not just about catching him. It's about noticing, caring, and being patient. That's something humans do better than anyone else." Alex smiled softly. "I think I understand that now. It's about more than the cat. It's about you, too." Mrs. Harper's eyes softened, and she nodded. "Yes. Sometimes the smallest acts, like helping with a pet, can mean the most." For the next hour, Alex and Whiskers continued their gentle game. Alex noticed every movement, every sign of comfort or hesitation. Whiskers jumped onto boxes, batted at small toys, and even allowed Alex to gently lift him onto the blanket. It was a careful dance of trust and patience, and Alex realized that he was learning just as much about humans as he was about cats. Then, something unexpected happened. Whiskers climbed onto Alex's shoulder and rested his head near Alex's cheek. Alex froze for a moment, then laughed softly. "Okay, I think we're really friends now." "Are." Mrs. Harper's voice came again, soft and almost shy. Alex hesitated. Then he nodded slowly. I guess I came for both. For him and for you. Mrs. Harper smiled warmly, a quiet glow in her eyes. Thank you. That means more than you know. Alex realized that humans had a remarkable ability to notice, care, and act. Whiskers had been clever, but Alex had something just as important: empathy, attention, and understanding. The cat was clever, yes, but humans had the power to connect in ways that mattered deeply. As the afternoon passed, Alex continued to play quietly with Whiskers, occasionally jotting down small notes in his notebook. Behaviors, patterns, and observations. Each detail felt important. Each small victory, the cat approaching, nuzzling, trusting, was a sign of progress. Mrs. Harper prepared tea in the kitchen, occasionally glancing toward the basement. She felt a quiet warmth as she watched Alex and Whiskers interact. It wasn't just a cat being caught. It was a moment of connection, trust, and understanding. By the time Lily returned from her errands, Alex felt proud and content. Whiskers ran to greet her, but he also stayed close to Alex, showing the trust that had been built over 2 days. Lily laughed softly. Alex, did you come here just for Whiskers? Alex smiled, looking at the cat, and then at Mrs. Harper. Mrs. Harper nodded, smiling. Whiskers purred loudly, circling Alex's legs again. The basement, once a quiet and shadowy place, now felt warm, full of trust, friendship, and small victories. Alex knew that the lessons he had learned here, patience, observation, and caring, were things humans could do better than anyone else. He realized that the cleverness of the cat had been a challenge, yes, but the true adventure had been discovering how humans could notice, care, and connect. And that, Alex thought, was a truly special gift. As the day ended, Alex packed up his notebook and said goodbye to Mrs. Harper and Whiskers. "See you tomorrow?" he asked softly. Mrs. Harper smiled. Alex walked home, feeling quietly proud. The clever cat, the small basement, and the simple act of helping someone had taught him something extraordinary. Humans were special, not because of tricks or games, but because of their ability to notice, care, and act when it mattered most. And with that thought, Alex looked forward to tomorrow, another day, another small adventure, another opportunity to connect, care, and be human. The next morning, Alex woke up with a sense of quiet excitement. Yesterday had been full of small victories with Whiskers, but today, he felt like something deeper awaited. He grabbed his backpack, making sure to include a few treats, his small notebook, and the soft blanket that Whiskers seemed to like. When Alex arrived at the Harper house, Mrs. Harper was in the garden, watering flowers. She smiled as soon as she saw him. "Good morning, Alex. I'm glad you came. Whiskers has been curious all morning, waiting for you." Alex laughed softly. "I guess he's ready for another round." Mrs. Harper nodded. "I think you two have developed a special bond. But be careful, he's clever. He likes testing you." Alex felt confident. The lessons of patience, observation, and understanding had prepared him. He followed her to the basement, where Whiskers was perched on a shelf, his green eyes fixed on Alex. The cat's tail flicked slowly, a sign of both curiosity and mischief. Alex knelt carefully on the floor. "Hi, Whiskers. Ready to show me your cleverness today?" Whiskers meowed softly, then disappeared behind a stack of boxes. Alex smiled, understanding that this was the start of their little game. He moved slowly, speaking gently, and placed a few treats along a path leading toward the blanket. Whiskers peeked out, then darted forward, picking up a treat, retreating, then repeating the pattern. Alex stayed calm, letting Whiskers take the lead. Every movement of the cat was deliberate, showing intelligence and caution. Alex noted it in his mind. Small pauses, careful sniffing, and moments of hesitation. It wasn't just a game, it was a lesson in patience and understanding. After a few minutes, Whiskers climbed onto the blanket, circling twice before settling down. Alex gently patted the soft fur. "Good boy," he whispered. "You're clever, but we make a good team." From the stairs, Mrs. Harper watched quietly. She had seen Alex's gentle approach, his attention to small details, and the care he took with the cat. "You know, Alex," she said softly, "you have a rare gift. Not just cleverness or skill, but the ability to notice and care for others." Alex looked up, smiling faintly. I just try to do what's right." Mrs. Harper nodded. "That's exactly why Whiskers trusts you, and why I trust you." She paused, then added softly, "Sometimes, humans don't notice these little things, but you do." Alex felt warmth spread through his chest. It wasn't just about catching a cat, it was about being present, noticing, and connecting. Whiskers had been a challenge, yes, but he had taught Alex that small acts of patience and care could build trust and friendship. Then, Whiskers did something unexpected. He climbed onto Alex's shoulder and nuzzled against his cheek. Alex froze for a moment, then laughed softly. "Okay, I think we're officially friends now." Then, Mrs. Harper smiled, her eyes soft with appreciation. "Alex, you didn't just come for Whiskers, did you?" Alex hesitated, then shook his head slowly. "I came for both of you. For him, and for you." Mrs. Harper's eyes glistened slightly. "Thank you," she said quietly. "That means more than you know." The rest of the morning passed in gentle companionship. Alex played quietly with Whiskers, occasionally scribbling notes in his notebook about the cat's clever behaviors and small signs of trust. Each movement, each interaction felt important. Every small success, Whiskers approaching, purring, and responding to Alex's gentle voice, was a victory of patience, understanding, and connection. By noon, the basement had transformed. What had once been a shadowy, cluttered space now felt warm, welcoming, and alive with quiet energy. Whiskers was comfortable. Alex was proud. And Mrs. Harper was quietly grateful. The room radiated trust, friendship, and small triumphs. Lily returned from her errands, walking into the house with a bright smile. "Alex, Whiskers okay?" she asked, noticing the cat curled up comfortably on the blanket. Alex nodded. "Yeah, he's happy. And he trusts me now." Lily laughed softly. "I knew you two would get along. But did you come here just for him?" Alex looked at Whiskers, who purred and rubbed against his leg, then at Mrs. Harper. "Maybe. Not just for him. Maybe. For both of you." Mrs. Harper's eyes softened. That's all I needed to hear. The afternoon passed quietly. Alex helped Mrs. Harper tidy a few things in the basement while keeping Whiskers entertained. They talked about small, everyday things, books, hobbies, and memories of Lily as a child. Alex noticed how these small moments built connection, how attention and care made ordinary tasks meaningful. By late afternoon, the sun began to cast long shadows across the room. Alex stood, stretching slightly. "I should probably head home soon." Mrs. Harper smiled warmly. "Thank you, Alex, for everything. You've done more than just help catch a cat. You've brought trust, joy, and care to our home." Alex felt a quiet pride. I'm glad I could help." Whiskers leapt onto Alex's shoulder one last time before curling up on the blanket, clearly satisfied. Alex laughed softly. "You're a clever one, Whiskers. But we make a good team." As Alex left the house, the warm light of the afternoon sun filled the street. He realized that humans had a special gift: the ability to notice, care, and act. Whisker's cleverness had been a challenge, yes, but Alex's patience, observation, and empathy had made all the difference. Walking home, Alex thought about what he had learned over the past few days. It wasn't just about a cat or helping Mrs. Harper. It was about connection, understanding, and being present. It was about recognizing what others needed, even when they couldn't say it. It was about using human ingenuity and care to make life a little brighter for someone else. That evening, Alex sat at his desk, writing in his notebook. He recorded small observations about Whiskers, but he also wrote about something more important: how patience, empathy, and attention could make a real difference in people's lives. He realized that being human wasn't about being the fastest, the smartest, or the strongest. It was about noticing, caring, and choosing to act. As night fell, Alex smiled quietly. Whiskers purred in his mind's memory. Mrs. Harper's warm smile lingered, and the lessons of the past few days stayed with him. He understood now that small acts of care, patience, and understanding were extraordinary. And sometimes, they could change someone's day, or even someone's life. He closed his notebook, feeling quietly proud. The clever cat, the warm basement, and the small moments of connection had shown him something simple but profound. Humans had a unique gift. They could notice, care, and act in ways that mattered deeply. And with that thought, Alex went to bed, looking forward to tomorrow, knowing that no matter what small challenges came his way, he had the ability to make a difference. One patient, caring action at a time. The sun set, casting a golden glow over the neighborhood. Whiskers curled up on the blanket, dreaming peacefully. Mrs. Harper sat in her chair, sipping tea and smiling quietly. And Alex, walking home with a sense of quiet accomplishment, understood the extraordinary power of ordinary kindness, attention, and human connection. It was a simple truth, but one that would stay with him forever. Humans could be remarkable, not because of strength or clever tricks, but because they noticed, cared, and acted when it mattered most. And in the end, that was enough.